Good evening, everyone. I'm Lloyd Woods with the Ninth Vibration, and I am here with Lindsay Knight, who is also from the Ninth Vibration, but she is also called the Hermit Numerologist. Tonight, we're going to be doing some mini free readings, and all you need to do in order to get a free reading is to text your name and your phone number to 226-750-6534, and we'll do our best to see if we can get you on for the reading for tonight. Good evening, Joan. Thanks for coming in. I usually start off by saying a couple of different things, like some announcements and that kind of stuff. Right now, all I can say is we are open.
Yay!
After such a long drought of sitting on the sidelines and hanging out at the store and making some changes and that kind of thing. Hey, Amy. Hi, Tony. Thanks for joining in. So we've been doing some changes to the store. We've been adding some new products. We've been doing all kinds of different things, and so far the reception has been very good. We recommend, as always, that you come out and check us out and see what you think. Aside from being open, we are not doing any kind of face-to-face readings right at the time because we are still considered in the red zone, so we have to honor the no face-to-face meetings criteria. So we are going to be waiting until we get into the orange, and hopefully we can start doing some more face-to-face readings. We have quite a few people wanting to get in and doing some readings, and quite frankly, we want to have them come in to do the readings as well. So that in being kept in mind, I have my dinger. And this is how I tell Lindsay it's time to go on to the next reading.
That's right, if I listen to you.
That's exactly the thing. But we're going to have some fun tonight. Hey, Marina, thanks for joining in. So with that in mind, I'm going to pass this over to Lindsay.
Wrapped up.
There we go.
Thanks, Babs. Hello, friends.
Whoops.
Friends. I went and got my eyes tested, and I'm blind.
But you still drove home.
No, don't say that. Don't give away all my secrets. Oh, gosh. It's like, no, officer, honestly. Hang on one sec. So my eyes are a bit dilated. Reminds me back when I was like 20. Anyways, Kleenex. Okay. Little announcements. I'm working with some really cool cards tonight. Check these out. Look at these. These are like weirdo cards. So it'll fit in with all of us. They're beautiful. Okay? So I'm going to be doing some of that. I'm going to give you guys the option of whether you want dice. I've been doing these cool sticks. And I ordered in some bigger sticks, and I put my own spin on them. They're Chinese fortune sticks. So I move them in my hand, put them in there. Let's see if we can get a message for all of us before we start the reading. Gotta commit. Bam. Here we go. Practice is the best of all instructors. And it's a 1. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. So there must be new beginnings out there for people. And so just so you know, don't be intimidated. Like if you're just learning something for the first time, just practice. Just put your energy into it. Just love it. It's good. You're going to love growing. And it's just going to be awesome. So practice, but only do it because you love it. So I'm doing the sticks, also doing this beautiful past life deck if you're into that. If you want a message from the tarot, that's very cool. So anyone who texts in, or the numerology dice, okay? So I got lots of things in front of me. The other thing I just want to talk to you a little bit about is what I've been making. So this is going up for the free draw. We've been doing free draws. Look at this. This is it's an electroplated labradorite. So it's got a bit of kick to it. It's so beautiful. You can't even see how beautiful it is because the camera doesn't give it justice. But it's like, for me, the mala, I mean, I was a practicing Buddhist for many years, and the mala really, for me, is where you place, the mala really represents your life. This is your life. This is every little tiny, beautiful part of you, and it's embodied in the energy of the beads. And there's 108 beads. And when I used to, when I was practicing Buddhism, and I still am, I don't identify with any particular religion per se, but I mean, it was like the most sacred part of my practice, because it's like you place your life in your hands. And if you agree with me, and I believe that I'm 100% responsible for what I do in my life, sometimes I need a little nudge from Lloyd, but if you truly believe that you want to take your life in your hands, then you will resonate with the energy of malas. And so I've got some really cool ones in there right now, but this one will be going up for the draw. So I'm very, very excited. I made it last night, and it was just talking to me. Look at how beautiful it is. So remind me, Lloyd.
I will do my best.
So just so you know, if you don't mind turning down your sound, if you have a piece of paper, I may still do your dates just because I'm curious about who I'm talking to. If you need a piece of paper or pen, other than that, are we ready to rock?
I believe we are.
Roll.
I believe we are.
Okay, cool. I've got pens. So whenever you're ready, Lloyd, I'm ready, my love.
Okay, I'm just finishing the response on that one.
Just so you know, to text is 226-750-6534 if you're interested in a read. Okay, so 226-750-6534. All right. Thank you. Oh, I didn't even get the numbers. Sorry, darling.
There we go.
Right on. Perfect. So we're going with Amy. Okay, I gotta get rid of. I have to make sure my sound's up. I've missed talking to people. So it'd be nice to hear people's voice. I better turn it up. Better do this.
Hi.
Hi, Miss Amy. How are you?
Great, how are you? I'm first.
Yes, you are first. What can I do you for? Do you want tarot? Do you want past life? Do you want numerology? Do you want dice? What, the sticks? What are you looking at?
I'm feeling dice.
Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to write down your name, and I'm just going to tap in a little bit. Okay. So we're doing dice for Amy. We're doing dice for Amy. Okay, so it's really very cool. The first thing that comes out are double fours. So double fours lets me know it's all about the balance of your power. And so if you look at the energy of four, it is they're the mentor, they're the teacher, they're the father energy, they're a masculine energy. They know what they want. They can wield their energy. They get things done. Often they're quite rigid, like they're, very intelligent, have difficulty with their emotions. And so here, this is all about balancing your power, where to know where to put your energy and put your power, and also where to kind of withdraw it, where you have no power. And I mean, it's really interesting. I was working at the store this weekend, and it was so nice to be back there, but it was really cool because I said to this woman, this is how I live. I think every single day, have I changed or touched the life of someone in a really beautiful way? That's what I do. And so, I mean, this is what, for me, the double four is. Because a leader or a person with power, the greatest gift they can give is to inspire the talents, the spirit of another person. And so this is really being able to see that. The next you have the 2, which is all about past life. And you also have the 11, which means that you are walking in the energy of the divine, however you perceive the divine. And so no doubt this is a spiritual balancing for you, which is really, really important. The next is the 3, which is manifestation. I see 3 as the seed number. And so you get to decide what you want in your life, what you want to bring towards your life. If you want more joy, then you plant seeds of joy. So this is a very expansive time for you. And it's almost as if, you want to really be aware of how to extend your energy and be very aware of your energetic field. And so, just be aware of how and what you're bringing in that field. So yeah, it's just very cool, but it's all about balance. It's all about power. It's all about intuition. It's all about lessons from your history, and it's all about growth. Isn't that a great reading?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, do you know what it is that you want more in your life?
Appreciation.
Okay, yeah, that's good. And so if you want it, then it's what you want to also bring. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's like we sort of manifest what we promote. So if we promote that, then it's absolutely, you're going to be appreciated. And you start with yourself, right? What else?
Someone to love me.
Yeah. And see, even there, right? It's so neat. It's like, that's where we start with ourselves. I mean, that's one thing I've really learned about Lloyd and myself in our relationship, is that we definitely appreciate each other, but we also have a great appreciation for ourselves. And so it's so great. It's like the more that you love yourself, the more that you nourish yourself, the more that you promote yourself, you'll draw people to you that will reflect that. So I'm excited for you. And so you just put it out there, honey. Put out your magic.
I don't know. I need magic.
Well, you know what? It's like, all I know is that I knew I would, sooner or later I'd meet someone like Lloyd, and I had to be patient. But when he showed up, it's like so worth it. So I hope you enjoyed your little reading.
Of course.
Good? Happy?
Thank you.
You're most welcome, love. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye, doll.
I'll see you in the weekend.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Bye. Bye, love. She's so sweet. I love her. She keeps getting the same thing. She does. She's so cute. But I always love saying hello to her, so it's cool. Okay, we're going with Caitlin. How you doing, Lloyd?
I'm doing good.
Did you tell them you're almost a birthday boy?
No, I didn't.
Well, you're almost a birthday boy. 28th.
I was trying to keep that a secret.
No.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Can you spell your name for me?
Yeah, it's Kailyn.
Wow. So you're a bit of an odd duck, eh? Like, I mean, you look at some of the letters in your, very original letters. So this lets me know you're a very original person, and for you, everything is balance. You're also a bridge, and you're a bit hard on yourself, but at the same time, like, you're a very independent thinker. Like, would you agree?
Yeah.
And like, you're not this person that feeds off of gossip.
Right.
That if you want to find out about somebody, you're going to learn on your own. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, cool. Your birth year?
1989.
So you got a bit of me in you. So this is the hermit. This is a spiritual leader and a reluctant leader. And they often, with hermits, they possibly, I just sort of look at them as they come to this life already wounded from a past life, and they're deep thinkers, and they're independent, and they're introspective, and they just have this incredible kind of spiritual curiosity, and they look under everything. They have attachment issues, they have trust issues. But at the end of the day, they want intimacy, and so it's like you understand that there's a great spiritual depth to you.
Yeah.
Yes, like that there's a curiosity for you.
Yeah.
And that for you have great empathy for people that suffer.
Yeah.
Yes, and and there's no judgment with it, but that you're hard on yourself. Your birth month?
September.
Yeah, you're a double 9. That's very cool. You have to put your name in for the draw for the mala. Your date?
18.
Wow, that's so awesome. 18, 9, 21. Okay. Like, see that? Like, you understand that you were covered in the energy of 9.
Yeah.
And so this lets me know that for you, I guarantee that there's I guess messages from your spirit that reminds you that you've been here before, and it could show up in relationships, it can show up with triggering, it can show up, but like that your spirit knows that you're quite old. Like, does that make sense? And
Yeah.
do you read cards?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what else do you do?
I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I'm taking a shamanism course.
Yeah, and I'm just here to say, like, just so you know, like I appreciate you're taking these courses, but I want you just to tap in, no matter what, you tap into whatever the medicine is that's coming from inside of you. And it may not agree, like, you were a 9, like, I'm a 9, and I can tell you, like, there's a lot of things, that I honor, like, I honor this whole color coding for the chakras, but it just doesn't resonate with me. Like, like, I don't think my root has to be red, just like some days it may be purple, some days it may be yellow. Some days it may be black, so I sort of, but I love that about myself, is that I don't want to be influenced, and like you, I'm a free thinker. So I want you just to honor the medicine that's already inside of you. Just one second, I'm going to see 2, 3, 4, 10, 14. This is a huge year for you. This is where you step into your life's purpose. And let me say this, there is no doubt that you would be really amazing at fractures, at postures, at soul retrieval work. You'd be really good at numerology, like anything that you set an interest in. And like me, I started out reading cards, and then I just expanded, and I don't know what I'm doing next week. I have no idea, but I'm open. So this is a year for you to look at your life purpose, and it's also a year of commitment. It is also a year that you can renegotiate contracts that no longer serve you. And so you have to identify the people that are kind of drawing your energy away from you, or they're kind of holding you back, or just kind of, I don't want to say negative, but I want you just to see what relationships really nourish you and what nourishes your spirit. So what would you like? Would you like the cards? Do you want dice? Do you want the sticks?
I think I'm feeling tarot.
Okay, let's do that. Perfect. And so, yeah, it's just a really, really good year. And this year would be connected to 2016, 2007, 1998, and the year you were born. So do you know what was going on with your mother when she was pregnant with you?
Well, I'm a trip, and we were 3 months premature, so I guess there's that.
Yeah. So like, it's just interesting. Like, so you're a twin?
I'm a triplet.
Wow, a triplet. That's wild. Your mother, let's do your mother as a goddess. She's brought 3 spiritual leaders to this world. So there is no doubt in my mind that in a past life she has done something very honorable. And so, like, I mean, think about it. Like, she's brought 3 very, very deep old souls to this life. And so let's do her dates. What's your mother's birth year?
1957.
57, and the month?
November
And the day?
28th.
Wow, she absolutely is a hero, and I guarantee, like, she would be an interesting one to do a past life on, because I guarantee in a past life she was a soldier, or she was some sort of guard, or she was a protector, and so, like, there's no doubt. But anyways, I just think it's interesting. I want to see what vibration she was in when she had y'all. It's a lot of kids. She would have been in an Empress year, so she had prayed for you. Like, she had prayed. She wanted children. Yeah, big time. And there's no doubt in my mind that that's, you know, and I mean, I don't know if she expected 3 at once. That's a lot of kids.
Yeah, she had a hard time getting pregnant, so she was on fertility drugs. So
Yeah, and what's really interesting, there are some people that actually go on fertility drugs and never have children. So, I mean, I guarantee it's connected with her prayer and a past life where she had done something very valuable, and she had been like gifted, you know, like very blessed in her life. Okay, I'm going to do your tarot. So the first card that comes up is the Ace of Cups. And so this lets me know that there's been some sort of emotional breakthrough with you. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's been easy, but this is an opportunity to sort of bring a new kind of energy, a new kind of love to your life, a deeper appreciation. It may be a new relationship. It may be that you have something happened and that you have this like this great appreciation for the emotional relationships you have in your life, but it's like you've had some sort of emotional breakthrough. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And it's like it's changed you emotionally. Like, there's been a huge shift in you. And then a very cool thing is that your next card is the Ace of Swords. So not only has your mind changed, but also your heart. And so, like, this for you is a time where you just kind of be really aware of, you know, like, I don't want to say you want to ground, but I want you just to be present. This is a year of adjustment for you and a time for adjustment. And so it may all seem unfamiliar, but if we want to grow, it's where we sort of do the opposite of what we know. And so there's no doubt in my mind, not only have you had a breakthrough in your thinking, your perception, but that you also have with your emotion. The next is the Wheel of Fortune, and this is all about opportunity and change. And so, no doubt, like with you, I think it would be a really good idea, like if you have tourmaline at home, tourmaline would be a really good thing for you because it kind of aids in discernment and but doesn't necessarily ground you. You're like, you know, have you stepped out and doing something completely new?
Well, yeah, I'm like building my website right now, and I'm sort of doing different kind of healing sessions that I haven't done before recently, where I'm like talking through them and just trying to channel while I do them.
Yes.
Yeah,
and it's just really neat. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. Okay, here comes your next. Oh my God, Ace of Rods. So whatever it is that you're doing, whatever shift you're doing, I want you to know that it's the best thing you can ever do. And that whatever it is that you're building, whether it's this website and stepping out, just so you know, I just completely support whatever it is. And so I don't want you to limit yourself. There's no doubt there's doors in front of you, and it's not like you have to commit to anything in particular, But whatever it is that you're doing, I want you just to know that it's exactly what you should be doing and that it's going to happen for you. Here's your next card, which is the Hermit. So this is the spiritual leader. So if you are promoting your work or redirecting your energy or opening yourself up, I want you just not to limit yourself, okay? And I mean, it's perfect. Like, I just think it's really interesting. And there's no doubt that something has happened that has kind of really helped your confidence. Like, what's happened? Something, an event would have happened. And it's possible it would have happened last year.
Just recently, like, my energy has shifted where I'm able to, like, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm able to, like, hold a different vibration that I'm used to holding and, like, just be present. And it's really hard to explain.
Yeah, and all I know is I guarantee it was rooted last year and in 2016. Like, this is what I find is so interesting. Like, we think that change is very sudden, but in fact it's not. It's something that has to be some sort of inspiration, and then what happens is that we move into the reality of that inspiration. So even though it feels like, this has just happened to you, Caitlin, like, I would never dismiss how you feel. All I know is it's been brewing. Like, it's not like you haven't been working at this. So just so you know, it's like, I just want you just to absolutely just embrace yourself with the possibility. Don't commit to anything. Like, at one time I got almost into an argument with a lady. I'd done a reading for her, and she had said to me, you don't even need your cards. Like, you don't even need it. Like, you're just going to go in a different direction. And I really, really resisted her message. Like, I just said to her, you know what? Like, I'm a tarot reader. That's all I am. And I was dead wrong. Like, I was dead wrong. So I want you just to honor your own beautiful medicine. I want you to honor your own beautiful ritual, because deep down inside you're a ritualist. And there's no doubt you'd be amazing at cord work, postures, energetic, spiritual retrieval, all of that stuff. So I'm excited for you. But whatever it is that you're doing, just keep doing it, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, did you like your reading?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Miss 9999. And whatever business that you are, if you have a name, you have to incorporate the 9 in it somehow. Like, you're 9. Like, if I were you, we're the 9th vibration, because both Lloyd and I are 9s. And so I want you just to really think of something, but it's it's incorporating all of that, because I believe, this is what I believe with you, you're working on 4 very distinct levels, and each of them are a very important level. So it's almost like a dimensional thing for you where you're working. So in other words, like I say to Lloyd just doesn't do Reiki. Like, he brings so much more. And so that's one thing I would suggest. If you're doing a website, like, just come up with, but you have to honor the 9. You know what I mean? Yeah. Get a great big, like, look me, go out and get a great big tattoo somewhere. Anyways, thank you so much for the text.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Okay, love. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Like, how insane is that? 9, 9, 9, and 9.
999. How often does that happen?
Yeah, it's very cool. Hey, Lloyd. Let's rock it.
Right.
Thank you, my love.
Another one here.
Okay. What you want for your birthday, Lloyd?
Oh, I've got everything I need.
Aw. All right, then what can we buy me
for my birthday?
Don't you think that's funny? That is so good. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Can you spell your name for me?
Heather, it's Hathather.
Okay. Do you see how you just raced through that? Do you notice that? That
Yeah.
you just race right through it. You know what that tells me? That I bet you're busy in your life. Yes. And so, like, just so you know, it's just kind of interesting because you just went like that. It's just very cool. First letter, which is your cornerstone letter, is an H. So this lets me know that you're a bridge energy. Bridge energy people are people that definitely are all about balance. They're about connection. They're about intimacy. They don't like confrontation. They don't like any type of conflict. You have two H's in your name, so you'd be really good at kind of resolving any type of issue that kind of comes up or arises. Also, so you have three bridge letters in your name, which is very cool. Like, this lets me know that, you know, for you, it's like you sort of will absorb how you feel, you know, because there may be times where you don't want to create any trouble. Like, does that make sense? Yeah, and all I know, which is really interesting, is that you absolutely try to heal communication. And so I want you to communicate more, because there's no doubt in my mind that you have a lot to offer. You have two E's in your name, so this lets me know that your mind is quite busy most of the time. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And would you say that it's really, 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 really hard for you to shut it off? Yeah, and see what's really cool, do you see in your name, right smack in the middle is a T. And so this lets me know you're hard on yourself, you're a bit of a perfectionist, bit of a control freak. Would you agree about that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just so amazing. And that you're quite sensitive about your emotions, and when you get triggered, you pull away.
Yeah.
Okay, your birth year, Heather?
2000.
Okay. And the month?
August.
Okay. And the day?
25th.
25th?
Yeah.
Okay.
25th.
Wow, that's neat. So you understand that you get stuck in your mind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, all the time.
And that you have a pull. And what a pull is should I do this? No, I don't want to do that. Oh, maybe I will. Oh, maybe I won't. You know, it's just like there's a part of you that when you obsess about something, it almost feels like you believe that your mind becomes a part of that, and it's hard for you to pull your mind away. Yes. And so one thing I definitely would do is when you find yourself obsessing, and you'll know when you are, I want you just to go to wherever that energy is in your body. Because whether you obsess or whether you don't, like, do you see that it's not going to change the outcome? Yeah, and so, like, there's no doubt in my mind that that's what you do. Like, would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so you also know that you have a bit of an armor.
Oh, yes, I do.
And so does the armor, is it always up?
It takes a long time for someone to break it down.
Okay, and
But
so...
the majority of the time it is.
Okay, and so you believe that your armor keeps you safe. And so, like, I want you just to reconsider this, and trust me, there are times that I'm armored. Like right now, I drive to Hamilton twice a week, so I sort of armor myself a little bit just because I need to focus and going and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, one thing I definitely would say to you is that when we put on armor, what we're saying to our spirit is you better prepare for a fight. So often we're cautious, or we're a little bit untrusting, or, you know, we believe that we have to, you know, people have to prove to us that we can trust them. So what I want you to do is I want you just to have a conversation with your armor, and I want you just to figure out what its purpose is, because I guarantee all it does is isolate you. And what you need more is for somebody to say, I'm not going to leave you alone in this, and I want to talk to you. But it's almost as if like your mind just kind of pulls you out of your body. Like it's like your mind just takes you right out of your body. Like, does that make sense?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so, you know, there's no doubt you're an old soul, and you're a very sensitive old soul, and you're all about justice, and you're all about fairness, and you're older than your years. So like even with your peers, like people the same age as you, Like you would just like you're just so much more older and wiser. And I do believe it's because you have a past life that I mean you just walked this earth many times before. So like you may find some behaviors are pretty immature or you know what I mean? It's like and I guarantee it's just because you're a beautiful old soul. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And so this is a big year for you. This is a shedding year. Last year you would have had to go through some sort of change or adjustment. What was going on with you last year?
Last year wasn't as exciting as the year before. The year I kind of dealt with, I've lost a lot of pets recently.
Okay.
Which has taken quite a toll on me.
Okay. And so just so you know, and I mean, and I'm so sorry for your loss, but what's really amazing about animals is animals give us permission through the loss of them to grieve. Do you know what I'm saying? And so when, you know, like, I mean, it was really interesting. My mom had a stroke and I'd say to my sister, are you okay? And she'd say, yeah, I'm fine. I'm going, are you sure? Are you sure? It's pretty upsetting. Are you? Yeah, no, I'm fine. Never cried through the whole time. And it was really, really challenging. And then what happened is her dog died and she just cried and just cried and cried. And it was so good in a way, you know, it's like, I mean, dogs walk with us. I mean, you know, I've had several animals like, and they're still with me and I'll be forever connected to them. So I want you to know that if you think about when you brought this dog, these pets into your life, what was going on with you?
When I first got most of them, I was dealing with severe anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were helped me through. I honestly am curious where I would be if I didn't have them.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's like, this is one thing I would say to you is just being grateful. Like, just being grateful. My one dog, she was like 22 years old. And she taught me, she died in my hands. I could feel her spirit leave her body. And I mean, I was so grateful to have her. Just like we have a dog right now who's very old, and we've changed our house to accommodate him because, you know, he's has a hard time getting up and down the stairs. So we carpeted our stairs and bought him all sorts of carpets and just to try and make it a little bit easier. But all I know is that I'm so grateful because just like you, when he came into my life, I just needed to love someone. I just didn't know how, so I could direct my energy to my dog, and I was so grateful. So like, just so you know. And the other thing too is even though like we go through these losses, I mean, it's this is what I say, I don't mind suffering the loss of a pet because I would rather suffer the loss of a pet than not have a pet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm an animal person. Like, I want 3 goats. So, I mean, just so you know, like, and I mean, was it this year that you lost your, like, what did you lose?
So, in 2019, I lost 2 hamsters, I lost a horse, and then in January of this year, I lost one of my rabbits.
Wow, eh? And so, I mean, but you want to know something, I gotta be honest with you, right? Like, you lost your 2 hamsters and your horse in a 9 year. So there's no doubt in my mind that they'll never leave you. Never leave you. Like, you can talk to them, you can have them around you, you can just enjoy their energy. And the other thing that I want to say to you is, it's like, I mean, there's no doubt that you're ready more to sort of kind of connect with humans on a different level than when, you know, when they came into your life. And so the best thing I would say is I'm just grateful. Like, I mean, I'm just grateful for the pets that I've had in my life. I'm grateful for having the pets that are in our life now. And I mean, and as long as they're with us, like, they're not going anywhere. And so, like, that's the beautiful thing. When we draw and bring a pet to us, we see it to the end, no matter what that is. And so good for you for that. What can I do for you, Heather? Would you like some dice? Do you want cards? What would you like?
Can I have cards?
Sure. Let's do the weirdo cards, okay? Let's do the weirdo ones on you. Just because you're a bit of a, like, I know you sound normal, but I know you're not.
Oh, no.
You're your own person. I know that you are. So let's do the weirdo cards.
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'm going to shuffle them up and I'm just going to focus in on you. Okay. Let's see. So the first card that comes up, look at this. You get the coffin. So this lets me know that you definitely have had some loss and that this has impacted you. It also lets me know that there's been some sort of change and new beginning as well, and the opportunity. Wherever there's death, there's also a rebirthing. So just so you know, you have the energy of that. And it's like this, you know, like we grieve things that and people that we really, really love. And I don't think that you mind that. You know, it's like me.
No.
Like, I don't mind grieving people that have meaning and value to me, okay? I'm going to do another card for you. This is the snake energy. So this lets me know transformation, shedding. And this card absolutely reflects the type of year you're in this year. Some things you get to let go. I mean, that's one thing about going through something very difficult. We can say to ourselves, I'm no longer the same person. Like, you learn who really loves you through some sort of trauma, who was there for you when you lost these beautiful pets, you know, and we learn about who really cares about us. And so no doubt it's a transformation as well. Here's the next one. This lets me know you need to have some fun, that you're a little bored at the moment. And so you need to get out there, and almost like you've had a lot of serious stuff. So it's almost as if you just need to, you know, just go and do something that you're just going to love and make you feel young and light and all of that stuff. I'll do another card for you. And this is the anchor. So this, no doubt that right now you're kind of in a very transitional state. And I don't want you to ground. It's more like just allowing yourself just to feel settled and being able to let go of some stuff. And it's not like you let it go all at once, but just so you know, like, your security is going to change and has changed. But it's like just being more confident because of what you have gone through. There's a strength in you that wasn't there as much before. And this lets me know, no doubt, that you've had a difficult time and that it's been challenging, but at the same time, it's like you've overcome, like you face those obstacles and you face those challenges. So you definitely are a hero. So I want you just to don't anchor, be totally present, and I hope you enjoyed your reading.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And listen, have a little congregation with your animals and just say, you walk with me forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And just know, and then release them. Like, just release their energy. Okay? Thanks, love.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, Heather. Bye. Bye, love.
Bye.
Aw, she had 2 little hamsters in the... Nice. Okay, Lloyd, how am I doing? Am I being good?
You're doing very good.
Thanks, man.
I'm seeing little orbs flying around you.
Oh, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the best. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Lloyd. There you go.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Can you spell your name for me?
Melissa.
Wow, that's kind of neat. Like, you understand that for you, like, you have such hyper senses that you literally, like, anything that you kind of experience, you feel it double.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt in my mind, like, when things change, like, everything changes around you.
Yes.
And one thing definitely is like you understand that there's an anxiety inside of you, and that when it surfaces, it feels like you sort of surrender control to it. Like, does that make sense?
Yep.
And the next time it happens, I want you to remember me. I want you to say, I feel it, and I'm grateful that I feel it, and I'm going to see where I feel it in my body, and I'm just going to go where I need to go to calm it down. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And there's no doubt that you're a bridge energy, so it lets me know, like, it feels like there's been a female that has passed around you. Who is this female?
I actually can't think of any female that has passed.
Okay, it feels like this would have been when you were quite young, and it may not necessarily be a family member, but this female somehow was connected to your family, either a neighbor or one of your mom's friends or dad's friends.
Well, when you first said it, because I was still had tears in my eyes from your reading from Heather, because I'm very connected to my female pet that passed.
Okay.
But so it's probably not my female pet that passed. But the only other thing that comes to mind is a friend, my sort of second mom, growing up. Her passing impacted me, yes.
Yes, and I'm here to say to you that she is right with you. And so,
Yes.
and there's no doubt that she does not leave your side. And so just so you know, I want you, and it's kind of neat because I truly believe that people come into our life and some people stay and some energies. Do I think grandma's hanging around? Like, I hope not, because I believe that we incarnate again. But I do believe the imprint of our soul is connected and that it will never ever go. And so one thing I want you to do is I want you to have a conversation with this female and just say thank you. I mean, she didn't want to leave you. I mean, she just didn't want to leave you, and she didn't want to leave you alone. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yes, and before I even knew that cardinals were associated with spirits passing,
Yes.
every time I saw cardinals, I just intuitively was like, that's Sue Allard, that's that woman.
Yeah.
And then I found out after I read that cardinals are often associated with people that pass. I was like, wow, that's so cool. So yes, that so resonates.
Yeah, and see what's really interesting is the fact that as soon as I came into your field, I could feel a female present, but you didn't associate that.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's interesting?
Yes, I do, because I sort of dismiss it because it's not my mom or my relative, but she was like my second mom growing up, well, my best friend's mom.
Yeah, and I'm just here to say, like, I just think that that's interesting. So I want you, it could be like, there may be even where you didn't feel her loss. You know what I mean? Like, either you were supporting her friend, but all I know is as soon as I connected with you, I felt her presence. So I want you just to know that. And it may absolutely be connected with your female pet, but it's just weird because what you said to me, and like, I'm just going to call you out on it because it's kind of like what I do, is like you absolutely felt the loss of your pet, but you didn't feel the loss of this female. You know what? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and I find that is a really important message for you tonight, Melissa. And it's just like, you know, and no doubt that you trust animals more, or that you're more emotionally connected to animals. But I just find that is just fascinating to me. It's fascinating. And so just so you know, okay? Your birth year?
1971.
Yeah, and see, no doubt in my mind, see, like, you have the energy of the hermit, which in a past life, there's no doubt in my mind that you would have been abandoned. So the fact that you had this second mother in this life, that's why she had an importance with you. So it's like in a past life, I guarantee that you lost your mother. And so in this life, it's like you had 2 or 3 different mothers. And so like, there's no doubt in my mind. So it's the hermit. This is a spiritual leader, no doubt, very deep thinker. Also very much connected with Raven medicine and energies that sort of really have great compassion for people that are wounded, or people that are kind of outcasts, or people that, like, if somebody is being mistreated, I mean, you'll draw your energy towards that person. Like, does that make sense to you?
Oh, absolutely. I'm an autism consultant, and I have always sort of fought for the underdog, always.
Yeah, and it's not. It's you do it because you do it because the fact is this is what your soul's purpose is. And it's not like, even if you were in Timmy's and you heard somebody say something terrible to somebody, like, you would just be compelled to say something. And so, just so you know, it's like it's like sometimes our soul speaks to us. Like, I guarantee you would not be happy working at Walmart, although there's nothing wrong with working at Walmart. There, you came here for a greater service. Like, would you agree?
Yes, definitely. And it's not always easy, because when you stand up for other people, or sort of the truth of the situation, not everybody's always happy with you. But I get a sense that I've done the right thing, even if other people sometimes don't like it.
Yeah.
It makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah, and there's no doubt. Like, trust me, I've been in the body of a hermit for almost 60 years. I've gotten into trouble over the years, you know what I'm saying? But see, like, with you and your work, like, I don't know if you have any bowls, but if you had bowls, I find bowls are probably one of the greatest tools for people that have a hypersensitivity. And so I could see you doing that on behalf of your clients and people that you work for. Your month?
October.
And your day?
4.
Yeah, that's really cool numbers. And see, like, in a past life, I guarantee that you walked with Christ, and that you are a person that has come to this life with a great responsibility, and you feel responsible, and you often will just feel bad. Of the 3 numbers that I believe are the highest vibration in terms of numbers, 2, 5, 9, you have 2 of them, which is the 5 and the 9. So just so you know, like, you are here as there's like a church inside of you. And I'm not talking about a Christian church. I'm talking about morality. I'm talking about this philosophy and how you live, that everyone deserves respect in your mind, and you advocate for everybody in your life, but that often you will absorb the energy. And so one thing I definitely would do is I'd recommend, like, having tourmaline on you, or something really beautiful like blue tiger eye, something that's kind of going to shield you a bit, because you don't have to feel a person's pain in order to have empathy for their suffering, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Let me just see. Wow, this is a big year. This is a shift year for you. Last year, what was going on with you last year?
Well, 2 years ago, I was in treatment for PTSD at Homewood, and so I returned to work just part-time about a year ago, but I'm working on switching out of my job into, I don't know what, I have so many different ideas, like reflexology, Reiki, or running outdoor education for kids or adults with developmental disabilities. There's so many options. I'm trying to just continue to sort through which one I'm going to do, and maybe I'll just try different ones, but definitely I'm trying to move out into something different.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is, just so you know, it's all about, for you, it's all about calming and restoring the mind. So I want you just to be really aware of that. Like, you are a natural born leader. You're a spiritual leader. So I truly believe that you need to do something within the healing arts, and to really be able to feel like you've come into your life's purpose. And so, but there's no doubt it's all about empowering people. It's all about just making, just like inspiring people to bring out the best of themselves. And so that's no doubt, as long as you do that. I can see you doing oracle cards. I can see you doing sound vibration work, which would be really good for you. It's the vibration that sort of restores anxiety and all that sort of stuff, because the body is so much water, right? So I mean, I could see you working with a big drum. Like, Lloyd has this huge drum, And I mean, it's a shamanic drum. Like that's like, and you deal with people just being able to let things go. And 2020 would also be connected to 2011, 2002, 1993, 1984, 1975. So you would have been 4 years old. Yeah. So just so you know, like, I mean, and you walk in the energy of 4, so this lets me know that you're a natural born leader. And just so you know, in the year 2020, if you notice, it's a 4. That's the year that you drew a line. Like you literally drew a line and said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Like I'm drawing a line and taking back my power. And that's why this year, no doubt, it's an adjustment to where you're going to put your energy. What belongs to you? What doesn't belong to you? It's a renegotiation of relationships. And so it's a really powerful year of change and adjustment for you. And really being able to see, like, I mean, anybody who knows me knows that I come from a place of recovery. And so, you know, it's like I was told that I had like a breakdown. And what I realized was it, in fact, was a breakthrough. I broke through everything, and no doubt when you went and took care of yourself and went and got the care that you needed, that for you, that would have been a huge step. Would you agree?
Yes.
And it isn't
absolutely.
like you just wake up one day and go, you know, I think I'm going to go into the homewood. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just don't. I mean, it's where your spirit just says, this is enough. This is enough. And so that's where you get to really recognize, I want you to be mindful of what triggers you. I want you to be mindful of what's sensitive, what you feel sensitive about. There's certain people that trigger us more, and being really aware of that, or when you, and really being able to identify when you in fact are triggered. And so just so you know, also it'd be really interesting for you to look at your relationship with your mother, because I guarantee, even as you were developing inside of her body, that you absorbed a lot of her emotion. So, you know, some of the things that you may be feeling may not belong to you. They may belong to her, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've definitely worked on that. I have a healer who clears a lot of that away, but that is bang on.
Yeah, and so it's like really being able to see. Let me do your mother's birth year. What is your mother's birth year?
1945.
Okay, and the month?
September
And the day?
8th.
Yeah, right there. 4, 6. See that? I'm telling you, like 90%, like if you look at what your mother's history, okay? If you look at, I guarantee that there was abandonment issues. I guarantee there were worthiness issues. If you could figure out what was going on when she was pregnant with you, I guarantee that you absorbed a lot of her emotion as you were developing inside of her. And you two have a soul and a spiritual contract, just so you know, okay? Let me just see. I'm going to do a calculation for you. I want to see what was going on with your mom in 1971. See, I guarantee she was not in balance. Something was out of balance when she was pregnant.
Yeah, well, we found out just a couple of years ago that I have 3 siblings I grew up with, and we found out that we have a 4th older sibling.
Yeah.
So she had given up a baby. My mom and dad had given up a baby when they were 19, and so when she was pregnant with me, I think the trauma that was involved in giving up the baby and being sent away when she was pregnant, she was sent away to live somewhere else by herself in a home for pregnant women, brought back to her home, had the baby, it was taken away, and when she was pregnant with me, that trauma was all came back.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, like, this is what is so, like, do you hear what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear the importance of what you're saying?
Yeah.
Good. And it's like, it's like, just know that when your grandmother was pregnant with your mother, you were there, all of her children were there, everybody was there. And so we absorb this. And so one thing I want you to do is, like you just said, a really, really, really important thing. So I want you just to imagine, like, here is this mother that is shamed through a pregnancy, and she is abandoned and alone during that pregnancy, and then she suffers the loss of a child, right? And I guarantee it would be a space that she's never truly recovered from. And so one thing I definitely do, I believe in being able to have the power to restore what's empty inside of our mothers through our own spiritual work. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like my mother, her father, pure Cree, her mother half Cree, half French. And I mean, she grew up, like, I mean, with this shadow of our native culture around her. And through her relationship with her children, I mean, she has been able to restore that with pride. Like, anything I make, I swear my grandfather's energy is with me. And so, it's honoring that whole legacy. So I hope that helped you, Melissa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lloyd's dinged the ding on me like 3 times, and he might get a little cranky and throw something at me. But just so you know, like, just restore that. Like, there's some beautiful rituals that you can do, almost going back and regressing inside the body, and having great compassion for the loss your mother experienced, and being able just to be there with her and help to restore and heal that. Because if anybody can do it, love, it's you. So thank you very much for texting.
Oh, thank you so much. That was so beautiful, and it resonates so much, and it's very, very comforting. So thank you so much, Lindsay. I appreciate that.
You're most welcome. Thank you for texting in.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. That was like really, 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 really cool. Like, all the readings tonight are cool. See, and I do kind of miss talking to people, hun? What do you keep on looking at me like I'm weird for, hun? What's going on? I feel something's going on. What are you doing?
There's lots of things floating around you.
Oh, is there?
Mm-hmm.
Lots of things.
At first I thought it was just the dust from the clinics when you pulled out a piece of clinics, but...
Hun, we don't have any dust in our house. Don't be silly.
No, I know. But there's still some floaters around, so...
Thank you, my darling. Okay. Oh, I can hardly wait to get my new glasses so I'll be able to see your chicken writing. Because you kind of write like a chicken.
I don't write like a chicken. I've never seen a chicken write.
Oh, there's Lucy. Hi, Lucy.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Can you spell your name for me?
Sure. S-H-A-R-O-N.
Wow. So this is what's really interesting. Like, you understand that you're all about, like, universal flow.
Okay.
Like, and for you, there's this kind of desire for completeness and fullness. Would you agree?
Yes.
And what that means is you don't like surface relationships. It's not like you're a surface person at all. In fact, you're the type of person that really likes to have that stimulation, that connection. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Your birth year
1978.
and the month
January
and the day.
2nd.
Wow. Wow, you're a bit of a wizard, eh? Like you're a bit of a wizard, but at the same time, like, I call, you're like a butterfly. You're like this beautiful butterfly, which means you're kind and you're compassionate, you're non-judgmental, you go with the flow. For you, that's a very important thing. Mind you, I also have to say that even when you're a little bit, like you're easygoing until you get cranky, and then when you get cranky, it's not always pretty, if you know what I'm talking about.
That's right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 25. And so what's really interesting too is like you understand that you're very, very powerful when you direct your energy.
Yeah.
And that for you, that you are a visionary, you're a person that sees the possibility in everything. And you see the possibility and you see the cup like half full.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me just look. Wow, this is a big restorative year for you. You're right on the cusp of like a spiritual breakthrough. Last year would have been a year of shutting. The year before that, 2019, would have been a bit of a shit show. Let me see, just put it mildly, but it would have just been emotionally a bit of a challenging year. Let me see, I'm just doing a calculation for you. 2013, 2004, 1995, 1986, 1986, 1978. So do you know what was going on with you when your mom was pregnant with you?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. Were you the firstborn?
Yeah.
Okay. And your mother's birth year?
52.
Okay. And the month?
March.
And the day?
24th.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know. I just want to see what was going on with your mom in 1978.
Okay.
Yeah, like you have been contracted to save your mom.
Okay.
And what that means is that there may be something that's gone on with her that you feel that you had to advocate for her. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
That you came into this life and kind of restored an imbalance in her.
Okay.
And so that's why for you feel a certain amount of pressure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like just absolutely. And so it's really neat because when we come into this life and we are contracted to save another person, what it means is that we are kind of conditioned to put everybody else's emotions first before our own. Does that make sense to you?
100%.
And so this is something that you're trying to change.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
And it would be connected to something that happened in 2013.
Okay.
Okay? And it would sort of express itself in 2019. So that'd be 2 years ago.
Okay.
Okay? And so like just so you know, it's just you're just right on the brink. And like with you, it's almost as if you you definitely have 3 aspects that are connected to the stars. So what that means is that you're more in your mind than you are almost in your body. And so when you get triggered, it's like your mind just races. And so all I know is that you have an opportunity just to restore all of that. You're in a very restorative year. And what that means is you get to draw lines. You get to say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Last year, you would have let go of a lot of things. So it's really restoring yourself from whatever changes have happened around you in the last few years, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. What can I do for you, Sharon? Would you like cards? Do you want the sticks? Do you want the dice?
The cards, please.
Okay, which ones? Do you want past life, the weirdo deck, or tarot?
Did you say past life?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. I would like that.
Okay. So we'll do this. Yeah, and for you, it's almost a crossroads. Like this year is a crossroads for you. So you get to decide, like if you go down one way, which is familiar, or if you're just trying to change up things, and being able to sort of look at that. And for sure. Okay, let me just do this. this is your first card, so this lets me know that there was some sort of fracturing that happened early in your life that you haven't quite recovered from. It would be something where you would just come out of balance. It could be the separation of the parents. It could be conflict within the home. It could be some sort of difficulty with siblings, or just something, or a death or something. But there's been a fracturing that kind of took you out of balance. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. And so if you can think back, what age, if I were to ask you, what age do you believe your spirit came out of balance?
Oh gosh.
Isn't that a great question?
That's a great question. It's a very deep one. I don't know that you have time for that.
Yeah.
Probably in my teenage years, maybe.
Sorry?
My teenage years?
Yeah, it would have been before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just so you know, it's where, and usually when we sort of break off or we go numb, is where we just feel that we're suffering and nobody really is noticing that we're dying. So we kind of shut off. And so it doesn't have to be like this lightning strike. It doesn't have to be some devastating blow. It can just be like a realization that we're not as loved as we thought, or we're not supported, or we're not important, or whatever. And so if you can kind of look at where you felt that sort of, where you were divided, that's what you're trying to restore in this year. So, and as well, that kind of is connected with that, it would have like split your energy. So you, like your mind would have gone in two different directions. So yeah, but that's a very, very, very cool card. This lets me know in a past life, in fact, you suffered some sort of persecution. So this lets me know in this life, you'd be sensitive to any type of exposure. So you don't want to upset anybody. You sort of double check yourself. I mean, you know, you're kind of a person that draws a double line under everything to make sure that you're doing it right. There's no doubt that you're very sensitive to any type of judgment or abandonment or dismissal or disrespect, or even like crowds, you know, like that feeling of when there's some sort of, you know, the energy just before a fight in a bar or something, that you would be really, really aware of that, no doubt. Here's your Here is your next card, and this is a shaman. So this lets me know that you're a very, very old soul, and that you carry very old energy, and that you're very wise, and that you're a person that looks inward to find answers. And that, I mean, there's no doubt I just want you to live there more. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just honor that. There's a part of you that wants to avoid it almost. And so just so you know. The next card that you have, this is the card that speaks about the trauma of the severing of the umbilical cord. Like, think about it. We come to this life connected to another human being, and in a second, that connection is severed. So that I guarantee even the severing of the umbilical cord would have taken you out of balance. And that's why, you know, I'm not dismissing what you're saying about being out of balance in your teenage years, but I guarantee that it was way before then. Okay? Yeah, for sure. This is your last card, and this is the messenger. This is the dove. And if you see this card, it's so beautiful because the dove is sort of the reflection of the dove, kind of looks back at you. And so this lets me know that communication is huge, that you're an absolute leader, that you're trying to be more authentic in your communication, that in a past life that you had been wounded, so you've come to this life wounded. And that you're definitely, there's a part of you that sort of holds back your power or is a bit afraid of your power. So I want you, this is just a very restorative year for you. And so, you know, I want you, like, think about your intention. Like, you have a very pure intention, and you are a natural born shaman, and people are drawn to you. They are drawn to you for wisdom and support and encouragement and advice and all of that. And so I want you just to honor how important that is. You know, that's an important discovery about your value and what you come to bring. So absolutely. So that very, 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 very cool cards.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
A lot of sense.
And I mean, it's really interesting because I do believe that there's this part of you that is kind of afraid of your power. There's a part of you that will avoid things, you know, just because you're good at it. Like you're really good at shifting. But all I'm saying is, to me, it almost feels like you have a table in front of you. And because you're an alchemist, there's a lot of things that you do well. There's a lot of gifts that you bring. Like, think about the energy you bring to a room. It changes the room. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's being really mindful of what that energy is that you want to bring. So yeah, so this is a restorative year. You're right on the cusp of a huge change, and no doubt that you deserve this restorative year because you put you've asked for it, like you've done the work. So yeah. Okay?
Wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. And by the way, you are just saying a little bit stubborn.
No.
But that's just between you and me.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay.
okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
you too. Bye-bye. Hi, love. Did you sneeze or did you almost sneeze?
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to sneeze.
Nope.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you were.
Nope.
All right.
Just sitting here watching the orbs fly around you.
Do I have lots of orb activity around me tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's kind of neat. I wonder why. Like, mind you, I had that really cool bath, so maybe that's why.
They're sparkly.
Like sparkly. Maybe it's because I dug out my office. Maybe it's because I just feel good in my life.
That could be it.
We're rocking and rolling, eh, Lloyd? How we doing on time? Hey, hon, can you turn the clock so I can see? Do you mind, darling? Hi, how are you? Hello? Oh. I might have lost her.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Let me go to recents. I'll see if I can call her back. Let's see. Hey, that hasn't happened for a while, eh, babe?
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. Can you spell your name for me?
Yeah, Kimberly.
Berly. Okay. And your birth year?
1991.
1991. And so this is the energy of the priestess. So this lets me know, like, you understand that your mind is very much connected to your tummy.
Yes.
And that you're a bit of a record keeper.
Yes.
And that you store files.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do you store them on your body?
I would say mostly from my heart.
Okay. And so what is the purpose of storing the files? Like, why do you think you store them?
Just afraid I'm letting go, I guess.
Don't you think that's a great question?
Yes.
Like, it's so neat, right? Because I guarantee, like, for you, being able to let go is, and this is in anything in your life, because you feel if you were to let go, in some way you're betraying somebody, you're betraying yourself, or you don't want to not remember, that sort of thing. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
And all I know, which is very interesting, is you don't have to drag it around to draw from the wisdom of what you've learned. Because there's no doubt in my mind that, like, for you, you're this person that has this real depth to you. And there definitely is, like, I mean, I hear obviously you have children in your home there. And all I know is the moment you became a mom, like everything for you in terms of your anxiety tripled. Like, would you agree?
I definitely agree. I have 2 boys.
Yeah, and so it's almost doubled, right? And so even before you were really activated by your anxiety, but now it would be no doubt. If you can't sleep at night, then there definitely is something bugging you. Like, just so you know.
That's one issue. I have a hard time sleeping at night.
Yeah, and it's just because like there's a part of you that just doesn't even know enough how to let go in order to sleep. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Your birth month?
June.
June.
Getting active.
And your day?
June 1st.
June 1st. Wow. That's really, really interesting because, I mean, you understand that you're an old soul.
Yeah.
And you understand that you have like a fear grip on your children.
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that they would feel that fear. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. And this year is a huge year for you in terms of manifestation.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just gonna go in a different room.
okay, yeah. I was gonna say I can't hear you.
They're having a good time.
Okay, that's better. It's just okay. So 2018. Okay. 2009.
Okay.
2000.
Okay.
And 1991. So when you were born, do you know your mother's birth year?
My mother would be 1967.
And the month?
June
And the day?
15th.
Okay. Wow. And see, what's really interesting is there's no doubt in my mind that you would have absorbed whatever the wounds were with your mother. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
And that you would have acted almost like an anchor.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt that you're a natural mother. Like, you're just a natural mother, and it's because in a way you've already raised a child through the relationship with your mom.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Like, you would be her anchor,
Okay.
her reason. Yeah. Let me just see. Wow, this is a big year. In 1991, your mom was in a 6th year. So do you know what was going on with her when she was pregnant with you? Had she suffered a loss?
Yes, she had. Yeah, she had suffered a miscarriage right before me, actually.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, don't you love that? Like, do you see that fear grip you have on your children, love, is just, it doesn't even belong to you. That belongs to your mom. Because you understand that you're a very independent person, that you're not a person that leans on anybody. You don't really resonate with needy people. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
yes, I totally agree. And the past year has been extremely tough for that for me.
Yeah, and so all I'm saying to you, which is really good, is that you get to plant seeds to change this. So, I mean, and it only makes sense, right? Like, here is this mother who suffers the loss of a child. Then she gets pregnant again. So the moment that she's pregnant, until you presented yourself to her, she would just be concerned that she may lose you. So do you see how you would grip onto that?
Yeah, and I've actually lost a child as well. So.
Yeah, and so, like, here's the thing. I've got to say this to you. I'm going to say it quick. This is my belief. My daughter, she was probably about, I guess, 12. And her and her friends, they took her out for her birthday. and she got this great big balloon, you know, those helium balloons, and they were going to take her out for supper, and Krista turns to me and says, Mommy, like, will you take this balloon home, but just make sure nothing happens to it? And I said, of course, like, no problem. So anyways, long story short, get out of the car. We lived between two buildings. Just as I got out of the damn car, up this gust of wind and took that balloon away. And I said to her after, and she was crushed, but I said to her, oh my God, I was clinging to that damn balloon. Like, if you hadn't said anything, I would have been fine. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And so one thing I want you to do, love, is I want you just to imagine just being able to release that grip from your children, because it's all they feel, and they deserve to know that I would prefer that they feel your love. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, because like lately, like last year, I was diagnosed with cancer, and that was my biggest fear, is losing my children, right? So like that fear grip is, I definitely understand that.
Yeah, and all I know is, you know, like, we have amazing friends that have been diagnosed with cancer and have just absolutely healed themselves, or all that sort of stuff. And so all I know is it's like, I guarantee it gives you the opportunity to kind of let go of certain things. Like, you understand that when we cling to things, whether it's files, whether it's fear, whether it's any of that, that's hard on our body. Like, would you agree?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
And so, like, just so you know, it's like, and like, this is like, I've heard so many people, I don't know if you know of Mark Osher, but he is an incredible guy who was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Anyways, he beat it, and he's just this amazing person. But it's just so neat because, I mean, it's like he learned I did an interview, a podcast with him, and he said cancer was his greatest teacher. Like, you know, he just learned so much. And so there's no doubt in my mind, it's like, how do you kind of just let that go? And so, no doubt. So how are you now?
Like I feel, you know, it has changed me in so many ways, and I've learned so many lessons already.
Yes.
And I find that, you know, it's making me a better person, and just, you know, enjoying life and enjoying every little thing.
Yeah, it's like a rebirth. Like, it's a rebirthing. I mean, you've experienced a rebirth, and this is absolutely put it in there, and just planted this beautiful seed. And so, like, you know, just so you know, like, I want you just to be able just to receive, I mean, and just know that you're going to grow as a result of this. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. What can I do for you, Kimberly? Do you want the dice? Are we going to do, what would you like?
We can do the dice.
Dice? Okay, that's kind of cool. That's really cool. I feel like doing the dice on you and the sticks, okay?
Okay.
So let's do the dice. So we're doing the dice for Kimberly. Okay, wow, this is very cool. Gotta tell you, double nine. And so 9 for me is probably one of the highest spiritual numbers there is. And with 9 comes lessons, with 9 comes protection, no doubt spiritual leader, and it's about balancing that. I mean, it's kind of finding your spiritual balance and being able to kind of draw that in. No doubt that you were a teacher all your life, that you're a spiritual leader, and that you have great spiritual depth to you. So this is really about kind of walking a spiritual path, and there's no doubt at all. Then you have a 3, and this is all about growth and planting seeds. But right beside it is the 4. So this is the mother energy and the father energy as well. So, I mean, it's not just about your children. It's also about the children's dad and your relationship and being able to find your balance. And so, like, what's really interesting with you, I guarantee that there would be a grip. Like, I mean, if you think about what led you to your doctor and then you get the diagnosis and all that, I mean, like from that moment on, but that grip has always been there. So it's about really being able to kind of let go of that, like if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And so like it's like really looking at this, and I think you're already there, but this just kind of confirms how you're feeling. It's like finding this is your spiritual path. And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that, you know, it's just, you just are going to grow as a result of it. I want to do the sticks for you. I just want to move them around. Oops, of course I did that, hun. I just dumped the sticks. Well, not the sticks, the jug. Okay, so we're gonna find one for you. Oh, I better put it in. Wow, this one's just screaming at you. Life is a great big canvas, and you should throw all the paint on it you can. And it's the number 5. So I like just hear that. It's such a beautiful message. Life is a great big canvas, and you should throw all the paint on it you can. And so there's no doubt in my mind that you've experienced this beautiful kind of rebirthing in your life, and that you see everything. But I've got to be honest with you, you always saw all the tiny little things, but that you've experienced this spiritual breakthrough. And no doubt in my mind, it has just changed you spiritually. And I mean, it's just very cool. It's being able to just appreciate that you're in this rebirthing, and that you get to plant seeds to grow, if that makes sense.
Yep, no, it's so true.
Yeah, and so I want you just to, you know, like just to allow yourself to receive. I know you're a bit stubborn. I know you like to do it all. I know that you kind of absorb things. You're like a little tiny sponge. So, I mean, that's one thing that's the greatest lesson. I don't need to absorb everything in order to feel my life. Like, if that makes sense as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Kimberly, did you enjoy your reading?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful talking to you, and thank you so much for texting in. And I guarantee you just expanded yourself spiritually, and your prayer, like, let's be honest, we do not know how strong our faith is until we're challenged.
That is so true.
You know what I mean? And so there's no doubt in my mind, right? It's like no doubt. And that's what you have been, that's your spiritual growth at this point, you know, which is no doubt in my mind. So I want you to release your kids and just love, love, love.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, love. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, all these really interesting old soul females. Didn't you think that was funny, like hearing all the kids? It's kind of good. It's like, I think maybe I should go in the other room. It's like, I can't hear too much.
She's probably so used to it, she doesn't hear it anymore.
It's like ours with our dogs.
Oh, I still hear them.
Okay, I'm going to move my paper around. Sorry, babe. Thanks, hon. Okay, now where am I going here? Okay. Have I been staying on time tonight?
You've been doing remarkably well.
Thanks, man. Here you go, love.
There you go.
Hi, Deborah.
Speaking.
Hi, how are you? This is Lindsay.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Can you spell your name for me?
Yes, it's Colleen.
Wow.
So it's Lush.
You know what's really amazing, eh? Like, you understand that you experienced a fracturing early in your life that you are trying to recover from.
Oh, yes?
Yes. Like, do you see your cornerstone letter? Do you see how, like, if you look at an O, which is right beside, if you look at the energy of an O, it's all about fullness, completeness, wholeness, all of that. And then when you see a little C, and do you notice how there's a little fracture in that O?
Right.
So this lets me know that there was something in your life that happened quite early in your life that you had to make an adjustment to.
Well,
Does that make sense?
sure does.
Oh, sorry, I can't hear you.
Yes, it sure does. Sorry, I lost you the screen.
Oh, okay. And then what's really interesting is if you look, that's your cornerstone letter. So that's the first letter of your name. So this really is the introduction of who you are to the world. So it lets me know that definitely that there was this fracturing. But then if you see the O right beside, it lets me know that you've done a lot of healing as a result. And this fracture has led you to this very spiritual path. Would you agree?
Yes, actually it does, yes.
Yes, and would you also agree that you're a person that gives and gives and gives, but that you have a really hard time receiving?
Yes,
And so, like, do you see your double L's?
yes.
See that? Right in a row. Like, my name begins with L, so I get it. Like, you know, like I know what I like, I know what I don't like, all that sort of stuff. And you see how you have a double L.
Mm-hmm.
So it just means that you're quite stubborn.
Yes.
I love it. It's like not quite stubborn, that you're flipping stubborn. Like, I mean, not in an inflexible way, but it's just, it's almost as if there's a part of your soul that feels because of this fracturing that you have to kind of control things, and it gives you a sense of security.
Yes.
What if you're wrong? What if we control? Like I did that. I controlled everything. Like I controlled everything, and then the universe had to send me a message that made me realize that I have no power. Like I'm a powerful person, but I mean, I found in one telephone call, my whole world changed. And so I realized, like in some ways, how powerless I was, right? And it's the adjustment to that change. So, I mean, one thing I definitely would do, it's almost an illusion of security. And the really cool thing is, like, do you see that double L's and you got double E? And E's, I call them the mind, body, spirit letter. And this lets me know, brilliant mind. Anything that you look at, anything that comes into your vision has importance, that you're this person that deeply wants connection, that is very spiritual, that you're a big learner, that you're a person that there's always another question, there's always a curiosity, but when you get triggered, that you get stuck in your mind. Like, would you agree?
Somewhat, yes. The first part, yes. The latter part, I'm confused.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you just sort of overanalyze, you know, like it's almost as if, you know, it's just like this dissection, right? Your birth year, Colleen?
1974?
See, and that's what's just neat. I mean, you have the seed energy in you. And so this lets me know you're a nurturer, you're creative, you're a person that's completely supportive, highly intuitive. You can feel a room, you can project and you know, predict things that are going to happen. Like you understand that you're definitely like this, I don't want to say sorcerer, but you're like this intuitive. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
That you literally can feel the room, like you feel everything in your life.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and that you understand that, I mean, for you, it almost feels like you're just, like even when you're like 100 years old, you're going, I want to read a new book. I mean, you're always learning, right? And you can do all sorts of things, and that you love to watch people grow around your energy. Like, does that make sense?
Yes, that's for me, yeah.
Yeah, and like no doubt though, like I mean, I guarantee you got a cord that goes from your mind to your tummy, and it just kind of feeds off of each other. Your birth month?
January.
We got lots of shapeshifters. Maybe the orbs tonight are connected to them. Your day?
January 20th.
20th. Wow. And so, like, you understand that you're like a hyper sponge. Like, you, like, I mean, you take everything, like, personally.
Not personally, not so much. I think I've
Yeah, but I mean, like, let me put it to you this way. Like, let's say if you came into our store and somebody gave you a dirty look, like, what would you do?
I would give them a smile.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just, but that's what you do on the outside, but what would you be doing on the inside?
I'd probably like, okay, well, I'm gonna kill your kindness.
Yeah, and so it's just interesting, right? Like, there would be a reaction there because, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, like, would you not agree that you can look at the people you love and you know what they want, you know what they don't want, you know if they're in a good mood, you know if they're not in a good mood, and if they're not in a good mood, that you change.
Yes.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's why I say that you take kind of things personally, that you literally can feel everything, and as long as everybody's okay, that then you're okay. But if there's something like, and you are so vigilant, like you can look and you don't even have to see them. You can almost feel that something's going on with them, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay? And it feels like there is a male that is passed around you. Who is this male?
It's my father.
Okay, and his birth year?
Was 19. Oh, he was 2 years older than my mom. I think it's 54, January 23rd.
January 23rd. And so, like, there's no doubt in my mind he would have a huge influence on you.
Oh, yes, it was a hard death for me because we were very close.
Yeah, but you want to know something? I got to be honest with you. I have a chariot mother, and I love her with all my heart, but she deep down inside is a bit of a pain in the ass. I mean, like, there's no doubt, right? Like, she's independent, she's stubborn, like, she likes things her way, like, she's sensitive and all of that. And so there's no doubt. Let me see what contract, like, your dad was kind of screaming at me there for a minute. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. You know what? Your dad lives inside of you. In 1974, your father was in a 9-year, which means that you have a soul contract with your father, that you have a past life contract with your father, and that you have a spiritual contract with your father. So I'm here to say that his energy is embodied in your spirit, and vice versa, if that makes sense to you.
Sure does.
Yeah.
We're both hardworking people.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's not even that. It's like, we pick our parents, right? Like, there's no doubt in my mind, and you could read your father like a book, and all I know is that he was like a tower for you. He was just this tower, and all I know is that, like, it's one of these things that, I because my connection with my daughter is very similar to you and your dad. Like, I say to her, like, even if you moved on the moon, like, you're still going to be connected to me because I'm inside of you. We have a soul connection. Like, her and I were sisters in a past life. So just so you know, no doubt. The year your father passed?
He passed December 30th, 2018.
Okay, December 30th, 2018.
I think it was the 31st, actually, it's a Friday.
The 31st?
Yes, it was
Okay.
the last day of the year.
And you want to know something that's really wild. I want to double check this calculation before I give it to you.
Yeah, so I just wanted to double check with the date.
6, 7, 8, 9. You want to know something?
It wasn't really my stepdad, but he is my dad, all in all.
Yeah, and I'm here to say that on the December 31st, 2018, that was a 9-day. So he...
It was died on that doesn't make, it was the 28th, sorry, December 28th.
December 28th? Okay, just a sec.
Sorry.
December 28th. And so there's no doubt what was going on with him the day before.
Well, my mom was having surgery on, she had surgery on the Boxing Day, the Wednesday, and so he was visiting her, but he was also working, so he'd go to the hospital right after work every day.
Right. And so something happened that day. Do you know?
I don't know. I just know that he was working and dad at work.
Yeah, and it's like there's no doubt there would have been some sort of, it's almost as if he needed to go to the hospital to make sure that your mom was okay.
Yeah, he showed up in spirit to the hospital to let my mom know that he had passed.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt in my mind. Like that's what I'm saying to you. Like they had, there's no doubt, but it's almost as if he had to go there physically as well. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just see what vibration you were in that year. See, I guarantee it's a contract. I mean, in 2018, you were in a 5-year. Your father was in a 9-year. And so just so you know, it's like it's bigger than what you think. And so, I mean, there's no doubt, like if you believe that there's these contracts, I mean, like, you know, it's like there's no doubt in my mind. And so it's just, I mean, obviously I can't really get into it right now with you, but it's like it's more involved than you think. And I do believe that you have a past life connection with him, but I also believe that there's a real strong connection with your mother, because I believe that she was meant to stay and he was, you know what I'm saying, like that contract, like if that makes sense.
It does actually. He actually said that after he passed, that it was for him to die first because things would have been a lot different, and it was very important for him to go first.
Yeah, and it's like my dad. I lost my dad last year, and it's almost as if my father's death prepared me, because like my mom's 99, you know, mind you, I'd already suffered a loss back in 1998, so that loss prepared me for my dad's loss, you know what I mean? So and it's one of these things, like all I know is, what kind of work do you do?
Well, I'm an accountant, a personal trainer, instructor. I also now a reverend as well.
Yeah, and you want to know something? I think that you should invest in a deck of cards.
Which one? Because I have a few. I'm also an intuitive healer and reader.
Yeah, and like all I know is that there's a couple of cards, like when my past life deck comes out, for sure. That you would.
Actually, when you say the past life, I've always been attracted to past life.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Like there'd be past life. There's also a deck called Shamanic Healing in our store. There's Raven's Wand, which would be a really cool deck for you. My Trigger deck would be very good, because like with you, it's like even though there'd be a part of you that want to learn it in your mind, it would be more like where you just do it intuitively. I mean, it's really interesting. When my dad passed away, what I did was I invested like big dollars into 2 39-inch gongs. And so what I decided was to honor his life by buying something that I could bring to my clients. And so I would do the same thing if I were you. And it would be almost like, because he was a very straightforward, kind of self-sufficient, very directed. He was a hero. And so like that's the type of deck that I would do, is also being able to inspire and empower other people, for sure. What can I do for you? Let's do some. Shall we do the dice quick?
Sure.
Okay, let's do the dice quick. Even though Lloyd is kind of, he's got one of these faces at the moment. Okay, we're doing dice for Colleen. We're gonna do dice for Colleen. You ready? Okay, look at this. This is way cool. Like, this is almost too cool to be cool. Double twos, past life, 100%, double twos, and double eights. So 8 is all about the advocate. 8 is all about balance. 8 is all about, like, you know, setting boundaries, and I mean the mind, and then a 10. So this lets me know that, like, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that you're coming more into power with your intuitive messages. And it's almost as if, like, your dad, you know, presenting himself to you, and the fact that you received his messages that gives you confidence in order to be of service to other people that have experienced loss. Like, does that make sense to you?
Sure does.
And you see how, like, honestly, it would just be either our mother and father, or, you know, I don't even want to say it, but the loss of, you know, a child, like that right there developed your intuitive messages. And I truly believe that your father, that you would receive messages through your father as well. So I believe that's why you have double 2, double 8, and 10. So, I mean, like, you understand that you didn't just have little messages, like, you had conversations with your father.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, just so you know, if you can do it for yourself, then you have the ability to do it even more so with other people. So I don't want you to second guess your messages. I don't want you to withhold. Like, does that make sense?
Yes, I give messages, not a lot right now, but I do give messages to people, but they tell me that it's very thorough and that they're very authentic, and that's what I want. If I'm going to do this work, I only want them to be authentic and from the heart.
And I'm just here to say, like, do it. Like, I mean, you can't separate. Just do it. Like, I know you say I'm not doing it too much, and I'm here to say you do it all the time. All the time. You've never not done it. And so all I'm saying is you get to own it this year, and what a greater tribute for your dad. I can't even think of one. Okay? Cool?
It's very cool. Thank you. You're very awesome. I really appreciate you very much.
Yeah, well, I'm just here to say, you know, like, I don't question nothing. Like, I don't question nothing. Like, I mean, the person, like, you know, it's like, I just know that without that loss, you would not have the confidence in the messages. And there's no doubt in my mind that that's the gift of things that change around us. And at first, it doesn't feel like a gift. But I would prefer to honor my father through a much more devoted work and have more confidence in my messages. That is the greatest way to honor his life and his influence on my life, if that makes sense.
It sure does, because it's funny, because I was going down the spiritual path and I put it on pause and then became a personal fitness instructor. And then after he passed, I was pushed back into the spiritual path, and then it kind of led me to where I am today, being a reverend. And
yeah, and I'm just here to say you have never not been on that path. Never. You always have. Like, I'm, you know, like, honestly, you minister to people that are in the flippin' Timmy's line. But anyways, thank you so much for texting in, Colleen. You have a beautiful evening, and have a beautiful conversation with your dad, and tell him we say hi.
I will. Thank you so much once again, and thank you very much for what you're doing for everybody.
Yeah, thank you for allowing us the benefit of it. Thank you. Okay, love.
Have a lovely evening. Bye.
You too. Bye. Like, what a great conversation, eh? Like, isn't that just the greatest conversation? It's just very cool, and like, she's got lots. Like, she's got this real energy, eh? Anyways, how we doing? Are we done?
Well, you want to do one more?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Okay.
Why not, Lloyd? Oh, I'm going down here?
Yep.
Okay. One more. We'll do one more. Okay. Nice. Here you go, my love, man of my dreams.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
This is Lindsay calling you. Can you spell your name for me?
It's Elizabeth.
Okay. And your birth year?
1971.
Okay. Wow, that's kind of neat. And you're a hermit, so you have one of your aspects inside of you as a hermit. So this lets me know that you have, it almost feels like, I feel like I need to go to your mother. Your mother's birth year?
1947.
And the month?
06.
And the day?
10.
Okay. And so, like, I mean, it just feels like, would you agree that your mother, your relationship with your mother, definitely had a huge impact on you growing up?
Yeah, it did.
And that there's a part of you that hasn't quite made peace with that.
No, not yet.
Yeah. And so, I mean, like, and there's no doubt in my mind that, like, if I were to ask you where you hold that, like, because, like, as soon as I came into your field, I just felt like I needed to go to the mother. So, where do you feel the injury that is associated with your mom in your body?
Probably more my heart.
Okay. And so, is your mom still alive? Is she still here?
Yes, she is.
Okay. And let me see. I'm just checking 10. And so, like, in 1971, your mother was in 10, 18, 9, 21, 2, 3, 4, was in a 7-year, which means that your life, you came here to save her. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And so, as a result of that, like, you understand that with that comes a certain pressure and responsibility.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that, like, you'd be just sitting there going, like, are you kidding me? Like, seriously? Like, there, it almost feels like there's a bit of an energetic scream inside of you. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it was always in me since childhood.
Yeah, and it's really neat because I truly believe that, I mean, there's a part of it is, I mean, I just think that it's unresolved from a past life. That's what I think. And your
Okay.
father's birth year
1947.
and the month
09.
and the day.
08.
Wow. And, like, you understand that you have a soul connection with your father.
I never knew that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like, he would have a history, and I mean, there would be, like, in other words, like, you would have a nonverbal communication with your dad. And he would be like a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, there'd be a disconnect with the mother, and there would be a disconnect with the father. Like, do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so, where did you go, love? Like, where did you go to connect?
I really had nowhere to connect.
That's right. And I'm just here to say that you connected with the divine, and that's why you're talking with me tonight.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like there's a part of you that felt like a lamb. There's a part of you that felt like a black sheep. There's a part of you that just felt like an island. And I'm here to say, without that, you would not have texted me, and, like, I would not have taken your call tonight, even though it's like, you know, we were done. But it's just kind of interesting because I'm so glad that I connected with you, because in your heart you feel that there was a disconnect with both parents, and you felt orphaned, like you didn't fit. And I'm here to say that there's no doubt in my mind that you connected with the divine because of what was empty inside of you, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, and your month?
04.
Yeah, and see, like, you understand, like, this is what's so great. Like, the hermit is quite forgiving. You know, like Lloyd says to me, Lindsay, you get mad, but then, like, you say your thing and then it's over. But the emperor inside of you is the one that holds it, is because there's a part of you that just does not know how to let go of your perception of your mother and your father and what they did. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
And that you walk in two worlds. You walk in the world of the logic, and you walk in the world of the emotion. And like it's really interesting because when my father was passing away, it was really neat because I mean he got sick early in the spring and he ended up passing away in September. But the universe asked me to sit down and write this affirmation, and it was like, I forgive my father for being beautifully flawed and imperfect. I forgive him for all of that, you know, like he was beautifully flawed and imperfect. So, I mean, and there's no doubt in my mind that if you believe the philosophy I believe, that we pick the people that give us life. And part of this is because our soul needs to learn a lesson that we haven't quite resolved in a past life, if that makes sense to you.
Yes.
And there's no doubt in my mind, like, do you have children?
Yes, I do.
And I can guarantee you, love, that you gave them everything that you didn't receive from your own parents. Would you agree?
Yes.
And in fact, that you are so overprotective, and you are so, you know, like almost to the extreme.
Yes.
And do you want to know something? This is the funny thing. This is what I've learned because my kid's like 40 something. Either way, you're screwed. You know what I mean? Like, you just do the best you can. Like, if you do this, you're screwed. If you do this, you're screwed. And I mean, like, we have been, not only as parents do we convince ourselves, but we've been brainwashed into believing that our parents are perfect. And I guarantee that your father was wounded, no doubt in my mind, had no idea how to communicate his emotions, and that your mother was wounded as well. And so here they have this beautiful, sensitive leader inside that just needs that acknowledgement. And I mean, but one part of you wants the acknowledgement, and the other part of you absolutely doesn't even care. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Your birthday?
11.
See that? One by one, love. One by one. Walking with God or the divine, however you perceive that. Like, do you hear me?
Yes.
And I have the 11 in my aspects as well, and I felt like you. I felt thrown away as a child. I felt dismissed. I was alone. I was an orphan. My two sisters bonded like that. I was out like this. And I'm here to say that I know that I was never alone. I was never, ever alone. That I walked side by side with God, with Buddha, with, you know, the Creator. I mean, I was destined to walk the path of a spiritual leader just like you.
That's kind of funny because I'm in the healing right now, and I turn back to God.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you never left. I mean, you never left. Like, I mean, that's the whole thing, you know, like, do I believe, I can tell you in one of my most difficult moments in my life, and I saw this poem, and it talked about our innocence, you know, it talked about how we were connected to God, and that, you know, that we have this divine connection, and that we were never alone. And it was so amazing because I said, like, if I am a child of God, if I am a child of the universe, am I a child of the divine? Like, how do they see me right now when I'm all messed up? And the message came clear. It's like innocent, 100% innocent, and beautifully broken. And so, like, it's just one of those things, you know, it's like, I mean, you're my sister because we both share. My birthday's August 11th, 1961. Two, just like this. And so, just so you know, like, you were never alone. Never, never, never. And so, yeah. Like, I mean, I just love that. I just love it. I gotta be honest with you. This is a big year. You know what? This is so cool. This is a year you get to make peace. You get to make peace with where you came from. You get to have a conversation with your mother, whether it's with her, whether it's when she's not there. It's not so much for her, it's for you. I mean, like, you understand that when we hold resentment, like, one thing I definitely would do is I would write down where you think what you didn't receive from your parents that you needed, the wounds that you kind of experienced as a result of not getting what you needed. And it's being able to confront your wounds. And I'm here to say your mother and father couldn't give you what you needed because I guarantee they didn't receive it themselves. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yes, I know my dad's past, and he suffered a lot. He
Yeah.
suffered a lot throughout his life.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, and all I can tell you is he brought this beautiful spiritual energy and this child to this world that is passionate and emotional and communicates that and who is transparent. I mean, and that means that he's done well. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, and same with your mom, you know, like my mom says, oh, you blame me for everything. It's like, of course I'm going to blame you. Who else am I going to blame? I mean, it's easy. So, I mean, this is a year where you get to go through your records because you understand that all it is a distraction for you. And it's because you're afraid to step into your power. You're afraid of your goodness. You're afraid of being able to shine. You're afraid of judgment. But I'm here to say that you are a natural born leader. You have a 2 in you, you have a 4 in you, and you have a 9 in you. And it's all driven by this beautiful emotion. And so all I'm here to say is it's like you get to offload. I mean, you know, it's really interesting because after my dad's service, the next day, Lloyd came home from work and he said, how was your day? And I said, oh, I don't know, I was fighting with Dad all day. You know, and I had this argument with him while I was painting a room, and Lloyd came in and there was his little urn up on the shelf, you know, and I just had to have this reckoning with my dad, you know, and it was good. It was good for me. And it's just, that's one thing, no doubt, because you are right on the cusp of really expanding and opening yourself up. And there's no doubt in my mind that you do healing arts work, correct?
I do what?
That you work with the healing arts.
I just recently started not too long ago, so.
Yeah, and I'm just here to say, you know, like there's no doubt in my mind that people will come to you that have been wounded and that are hurt, that have been armored, that feel like they've been screwed over. And I guarantee that you are going to help them forgive.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to figure out how to do that or else you'll feel like a bit of a fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2019 would be a big year for you.
Yeah. That was the worst year.
Okay. Just so you know, that's connected to 2010.
I have to have a private reading with you because you mentioned this date to me before,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I know what it is. I just want to make sure that's what it is.
Yeah. And just so you know, like, I mean, and what's really neat, Elizabeth, is that you are going from 2010 to 2019. Last year is where you literally would have just everything would have changed around you. And this year is where you get to sort of really create a reckoning for yourself so you can move forward. Everything is a distraction. You know what I mean? Oh, my battery's dying, honey. Everything is, I can just plug it in. Everything is a distraction. You know, like whether it's our anger or whatever is going on. I just got to make sure I'm plugged in, babes. Am I?
Oh, sure.
So just so you know, Elizabeth, hang on, sorry. So it's like, it's all a distraction, like anger and resentment and being in that space. We just use that to keep us safe. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I don't want to be angry anymore. I want to be accepting. I mean, you know, like if I look back, I'm so grateful to my parents. You know, like there's no doubt in my mind that they gave the best that they could. You know, when I look at my dad, he was born in 1928. I mean, his mother, you know, like, I mean, they were poor. They went through the Depression, and yet he had so much happen in his life. And what ends up, he goes to university, and he was just this incredible person, you know. But he just didn't know how necessarily you know, express his love for me when he was here. But I sure tell you, before he left, I saw it in him. You know what I mean? He still had a hard time telling me, but I said to him, like, look at you, just love me. So, I mean, this is a great year for you to just make peace. I'm just gonna do, what would you like? Dice? Do you want cards? What's calling to you?
You choose whatever you feel.
I'm shuffling these weirdo cards just because I feel like I think it'll be
You know,
good.
when you brought up weirdo cards earlier, that's what I was thinking. Kind of reading maybe the weirdo cards.
I know, like they're a bit out there, but I love them, right? Like you can't even find them anywhere. I've had them for so many years. But let's do the weirdo cards on you. Okay, I'm gonna just go here and go here. Here's the first card. This is a little mouse. And if you look at this little mouse, mice are kind of funny because they tend to kind of nibble away at stuff. You know what I mean? Like they're a bit annoying. I mean, like they just kind of, there's something eating away at you. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Do you know how mice, like they don't come in and eat it all up. They nibble away at stuff and they just keep nibbling and nibbling. So there's no doubt in my mind that this is something, and it's almost as if you're used to that energy. Like, do you know what I mean? It's almost as if that's something that you've become quite accustomed to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't you love it? It's just like this, just nibbling away, just like this. I just love that. Okay, now, yes, Lloyd, I understand. This is your home. So this speaks about your home, your family, your children, your security. There's no doubt in my mind that your home is kind of like this safe place. But for me, the home really speaks about the love that's connected within the home and the importance of family, the importance of security, the importance of providing. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah, no doubt in my mind. This also speaks of just this blooming flower. Like, even though, I mean, and this is one thing I find is so amazing, even though you may not have received what you needed, it could have gone either way. Like, you could have ended up being a real grump or really angry or strike out at people. But this card lets me know that that's not who you are. You're a beautiful flower that you want to blossom, that you want to bloom, that you want to be, there's beauty in your energy, and being able to bring that forward, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, and like, see this? Aw, that's a beautiful sun. Look at you just shining. Shining, shining, shining. And so this is a very healing time for you. So no doubt. The next card, this is all about the bouquet. So this is a gift. So there are gifts around you. There's no doubt in my mind there's blessings around you, that there's fortunes around you. And it's kind of like a gift. And that's the one thing, you know, when we don't receive what we need in as a child, it's like even this message for you, that's a gift. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
And do you understand that if you had received what you needed from the people in your life as a child, that you wouldn't even have the appreciation that you do, because like there's no doubt that you appreciate everything, that for you gratitude is everything, that you're a very committed person, and that if you were my friend, you would be there solid for me as long as I didn't screw up too much. Do you know
Yes.
what I mean? Like if I was being really ridiculous, you'd finally say, you know what, Linz, off you go, you're driving me nuts. But I mean, you're definitely a person that like just forgives and and I just guarantee that this is a big year for you. So I want you to write down your wounds. I want you to write down what you're cranky about. I want you to write down what you didn't receive from your mother. I want you to write down what you didn't receive from your father. I want you to write them a letter, and it's not for them, it's for you. It's like, I needed this. Like, where were you? Didn't you know that this was going on? I mean, because at the end of the day, a child that is suffering, a child that pulls into his or herself, it's not just the parents that fail them. It's the teachers, or it's the neighbors, or it's the other siblings, or it's the next door neighbor, that sort of thing. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And there's no doubt in my mind that for you, it's like you believe their inability to express how they feel had to do with you.
Yeah.
And I'm here to say it had nothing to do with you at all. Nothing at all. And that there's no doubt in my mind that you have waited your whole life for somebody to tell you how good you are and how important you are and how kind you are and how forgiving you are, and that you are meant to do amazing things, and it's all going to happen when you offload a whole whack of stuff. Does that make sense?
Yes, I have a lot.
I know,
A
you
lot.
know. And it's just like, you know, I'm going to make peace with it, and it'll free you. It'll free your spirit, and it'll free you. So thank you so much, Elizabeth. I hope you enjoyed your reading.
I really enjoyed my reading tonight.
Yeah, and just like we got these great bombs in our store. They're detox bombs, they're purification bombs, and they're just to soak in the bathtub. And it's like, can you imagine what you would do if you let go of your anger or your resentment or your wounds or all of that stuff? Like, it just makes so much room for you to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be sending you love from your sister, your sister from another mister, because you and I both got a 9 and a 2 in us, and I'm telling you, like, you got great things going on. So, like, I want you to do the work, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely will.
Awesome.
I'll see you this weekend.
Okay,
I'll
love.
drop by.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have
Okay.
a good night, guys.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Lloyd Stephen,
Yes.
how are you, my love?
Good.
Are we good and done?
Good and done.
Okay.
Good
So
and done.
are you gonna come and
Ringing
say
the bell.
Are you gonna come and say bye with me? So thank you everyone for listening. Right, Lloyd? Look at all the paper I made a mess.
Thanks for joining in, everybody.
Yes.
And yes, there were certainly a lot of things floating around Lindsay tonight, and
It's because I got my eyes tested and I can't really see that well tonight because my eyes were all
they were there.
boing. My pupils.
Anyways, thanks for joining, and hope to see you again next week.
Okay, bye.
Take care.
Thank you.